All right, and we are not live, but there's a reason. There is a game that we have all come together for. A lot of history with this. Again, first of all, we want to shout out to Sega and Lizard Q for allowing us the opportunity to cover Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It's been that long, y'all. Just checking it out. Uh, 93 was Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master. So it's
Mm.
93. And then obviously, King, you and I
I just
know
want to
from your,
clarify, I was 2 years
yes.
old when that came out.
No problems there. No
And of
problem.
So
course,
I noticed, Cog, you don't count the 3D
we don't
Shinobi. You
talk
don't.
about
What,
it.
wait,
We talk
what
about
about what
Joe
about
Musashi
what about
Shinobis.
the great Shinobi Legions on Sega Saturn? It's not
Again,
Wow.
Joe Musashi. It's been so long since we see Joe
Joe
Musashi,
Musashi. It has been.
and it's so cool to see him again since the '87 arcade game from shout out to Clay Avenue in the Bronx, where a certain Mother Cog allowed me to put this strapping arcade unit up a flight of steps. And thus my Sega love began, and we was able to immortalize it here. But again, shout out to Liz Q, shout out to Sega, and yeah, we're going to talk about it again. The Shinobi Art of Vengeance, the return of a classic Sega IP, and one of the revitalizations from Sega as part of their initiative for these Sega classics. So we're going to get right to it. Start with let's start with Addict. Start with Young Buck first because I do want to get the perspective of okay, how many hours you put in, what you beat, all that kind of stuff, and then we go around as far as your history or lack thereof history with the franchise.
So I put almost 30. Almost, I was like 27. I don't know. I played for like 2 hours this morning trying to beat the boss rush mode. So that's definitely stacking on time. I will say this game is significantly longer than I originally thought it was going to be. Thought this would be like 8 to 12 hours up out of there, but nah. Like the first set of stages is 8 to 12 hours. Like these stages are relatively long. They have a lot of replay value onto it. When it comes to like Shinobi in general, you probably know more about Pokemon than I know about Shinobi. So I know he's a ninja, and he wears white clothing or black clothing depending on which one you pick. Uh, but
Mhm.
but that's it. I played the game because I was bullied into doing it. One of those older ones.
Yes, the
Uh,
arcade chat. We get a challenge from the ILP from the realm to
Oh,
play
that's right. I
original
forgot he
arcade
did the old
Shinobi.
challenge. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. So I I will say that my expectations coming into this game was like pretty much at the floor. Like I didn't expect too much, but it ended up surprising me.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's move it in chronological order. Then we got Sav, Sega brethren, a brother of mine who I bullied into becoming a Sega Master System kid pretty early in his gaming system history with Double Dragon and all that stuff. But obviously you know of the Shinobi series and obviously how important it is to Sega lore. What's your mindset come in hearing about the obviously Art of Vengeance being announced and everything associated, and then obviously the gameplay hours that you have.
yeah. So, I mean, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Well, the operative word there being art. The Shinobi is. I'm just gonna say it right out. It's the best Shinobi game ever made.
Oh, we doing that. We doing it early.
I'm just saying that. I'm saying it right from the bat. It really is. Up until now, for me, the best Shinobi game was Shinobi 3, Return of
Return
the
of the
Ninja
Ninja
Master.
Master.
That was the one that was had everything. It had the animation. It had like if you look at old Shinobi, he moves around pretty stiff. Like he walks around pretty stiffly, he jumps pretty stiffly. Shinobi 3 was the first time he really had animations that made him feel like a ninja, where he would crawl down and he would be crouched, and it felt like, oh wow, this is the next step. And mind you, I think Shinobi 3 came out a pretty long time after The Revenge of Shinobi. So it was a big jump. And for me, when I saw that game, I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is what it can be. And then it went to the 3D realm with, Shinobi on the PS2. And we had our DS versions and some of the not so great, Game Gear stuff, all that stuff back in the day. Um, but what Lizard Cube has managed to do here is really completely bring back this classic IP and make it so relevant today by making it, still making it a 2D action platformer, but then adding the Metroidvania aspect to it, which if you think about the Metroidvania aspect, it's such an aspect of a gameplay design that is so used today that it allows this IP now to shine in a way that it hasn't in the past. With their previous games, like when they went back and they made Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, and it has that thing where it swaps out the graphics. It literally has the old game running underneath, and you swap the graphics back and forth. That's just a classic game made beautifully. Then you see Streets of Rage. They took the essence of Streets of Rage and brought it forward. But again, as a beat 'em up, it's limited in kind of its appeal. It's going to appeal to people like us, but not necessarily beyond that. But when you take Shinobi and you turn it into a Metroidvania, and it has all the aspects of that, in addition to all the aspects that show reverence to what Shinobi used to be, and bring it forward, they did a fantastic job. They really did. Like every aspect of this game, we have little nitpicks that we'll talk about. But I have not finished the game yet. I have about 16 hours into it, so about halfway through. It's a huge game.
Oh my God.
I was not expecting this type of
I
time
forgot to say
commitment from this
that.
game.
I beat the game. I just said the hours. Yeah, I did beat it.
Yeah, I was not expecting this time commitment from this game, but again, pleasantly surprised that Shinobi gets this short of a glow up in 2025. When we talked about the previews, I talked about, I compared it to Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which had just come out. Another, excellent sort of revival of an amazing 2D action platformer. Both of these kind of ninja games going toe to toe. I'll tell you right now, Shinobi takes it up another level, man. Ragebound is an amazing game. Love Ragebound. But what they've done with Joe Musashi is really special. It's really special. Somebody looking at it from the outside and just say, "Oh, it's just a beautiful 2D action platformer." But to know the roots of this franchise and to know where it comes from, and for a team to have the reverence for that property to bring it back like this and give it this love and care, man, yeah. I'm really excited to talk about this game. Really.
Got to move the king because for the oldest man in my life, if it wasn't for him, he protected my arcade Shinobi in the streets of the South Bronx when foolish me, I got it from an arcade distributor from Texas thinking that they were going to then ship it, drop it in the crates, and then take it up the steps, to our house on Saturdays. And if it wasn't for him saying, "Cog, I got you. You got to call some movies, bro, and get this thing into the house." Yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to Mr. Haas, that was there that day to hold me down. And then obviously your affinity for this franchise, your history with the franchise, as well as, you're one of the few that talks about the spinoffs, which is Shadow Dancer, and how much you're a love and affinity for that. That little deep cut for a lot of Shinobi fans don't know about. So obviously your experience with Art of Vengeance, I know you got a lot of things going on, so we're just happy we got you for this one. But like, give us your take, just your impressions, your overall feel of where you at with Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
So I'm like 8 to 10 hours in, and my foolishness, I guess, like everybody, because I'm listening to all of you guys, and all of you guys have said the same thing. Well, I thought it would just be like past Shinobis, like, from Shinobi to Revenge of Shinobi, it was just like, linear. You pass the stage, and you can move on. Get new story, you move on. So it was stuff that was happening, and immediately I found out very quickly, there's more to this. It's more to this. But all right, so my thing with the history of the game, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. This is the year of the ninja, and I'm absolutely terrified. I'm like, this is probably the most iconic ninja to ever grace video games, right? Shinobi in arcade, when you had to cut the the bonus round when you throw in the ninja stars.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Yes. So it's like all right. So I love that. So I'm like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna mess it up? Because Sovereign said, the 3D ones that we don't count, like Legends and the long. I remember we
The
had
one
the
with the
long
Long
scarf.
scarf.
Scarf
You
for
know what though?
PlayStation.
That
Those are good
game,
games.
they're
Those are
good games. It's just not.
It's
It's not.
not
They. It
Shinobi.
was them trying to figure out 3D, and they did
Yeah.
something different. But not
Yeah.
bad games. But
Right.
not Joe Musashi.
But not
Yeah.
Joe.
I
Yeah. And it wasn't
just.
Joe Musashi as
Mm.
well. Yeah.
I just gotta say, like, upon seeing the layers and layers of scrolling, which was a hallmark for Genesis. That's
Yes.
what Genesis
Parallax
did.
Parallax
scrolling.
scrolling.
Parallax scrolling, and you're running through the trees, and you see the ninjas running in the background. It was just little things that I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh, getting goosebumps, right? The clothing on him. I said, okay. I jumped.
Mm.
I was checking to see if the 1-to-1, if it was a delay. They made sure first he controlled like a ninja. When something happens to you in this, it's your fault, honestly. But I found out going through the one board that I noticed I couldn't get to something. And I was like, what was that about? How was I supposed to do that? But then I'm looking, I look at the map, and then it's saying all this other stuff there. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? I'm not putting it together that this is a Metrovania. I didn't think that you were going to do that, but aha, you appeal to the new crowd that don't know it, that doesn't know Shinobi from a can of paint like Addict, and that does understand Metrovanias give more replayability to a game that you could play it any way you want. You could play it linear, you get to the end or whatever, you'll miss a lot of the game. But if you actually want to dig through the crates, you can actually open up a breadth of the game. And then I sort of started seeing percentages on the boards that you get past. I love the hallmarks, like you said, the Shadow Dancer. There's something that was there that I was like, it put a smile on my face. I was playing with a smile. Now, the frustration of Shinobi is there. All right. I don't want anybody to think that you're going to walk into this thinking I'm going to shack this game. That's not what this is. Shinobi was always one of the harder platformers on Sega. All right. So when you would beat a Shinobi game, you were accomplished. You were a person of merit. And I'm just noticing that it did everything that I asked it to do. So yeah, my 8 to 10 hours, and that's only because I got other NDADA stuff that I'm playing.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah. But this one, I always silently, and it's harder for me because usually to get my gaming in, I stream. I can't stream it. So I got that. I said I had to section off time from my streaming because usually I incorporate it, but it was quiet time, and it was reflecting time on what Shinobi means to me every time I do it. And then I found something that was in it that it took me back to the beginning. So I love everything about it right now, and I can't wait till we get to different aspects of it. But I'm pleased with everything that they did and everything that they tried new. It doesn't seem like they missed a beat. I didn't play, to completion like you guys, so I can't really completely say so. But from everything that I played so far, they didn't miss a beat on keeping the old Sega kid alive.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, great overviews from all of you. Obviously this is a dream game resurrected for me. For me, it's always a situation where I come into it and I try to be objective from the standpoint of what Shinobi has always been, right? And to me, I'm coming in, and if they give me something in the lines of Revenge of Shinobi, or they give me something in the lines of Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, then I am satiated, because I'm assuming the scope of this project. I'm assuming that that's what's in budget. It's going to be kind of a smaller game. So to see not only, like you guys said, the Metroidvania aspect, to not even see precision-like platforming in a Shinobi game, and then on top of that, the reverence and fan service for almost every Shinobi game that came before it. That was the part. I saw parts of Shadow there. And again, I'm also an arcade Shinobi kid. Like, let's be clear. Don't get me wrong. The Revenge, Shinobi 3, those are great in its own right. But arcade Shinobi, it's great in its own right by itself for what it did at its time. And to see callbacks to arcade Shinobi and tying and bridging the gap, phenomenal. the other thing I was going to say is that, like I said, the elephant in the room is that, this art style. And what is interesting to me, as we all covered the Lords, all four of us playing Streets of Rage at PAX East, remembering the combination between Guard Crush games and Lizard Cube at the time, and shout out to Benfica, was just doing art for them at the time. And we was like, what is it about their art? Like, it just jumps. It's like a comic book, King, that
It
jumps
comes
off
to
the
life.
page. I've never seen art like this, so much to the point that Sega says Streets of Rage 4 is canon. That's part of our lineage, and bring them in. And to see now Ben Fiquet, now the CEO of Lizard Cube, excuse me, right, get the mantle to do a new Shinobi project was amazing. So the hype's coming in. So I got so much more to say, but I had to say that part because you could tell these are Sega and Shinobi fans
Yes.
doing a game with some of the most beautiful art style and so on and so forth. So we're gonna get into it, but let's start with you, Ag. Now, let's get to, I don't know, you want to approach, you want to get straight to the combat, you want to do combat and graphics. Where do you want to start first with your gameplay experience?
I feel like emerging graphics, art style is probably the best place to start with this. A lot of these older 2D games that are brought back, I would say they make or break it on the art style, how they approach that. If it's going to be something that's going to age well, if it's not going to age well. I just played the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and I felt like that art style was very, like, dull to a degree. But a game like this, in my opinion, like, has a very high art style, like, very flashy. King, what did you feel about the art style and the atmosphere in general in Shinobi?
I thought the art style was incredible. Little things like standing next to a flame and having the silhouette of the flame shine on the suit, the ninja suit of the character. It was like subtle things that I've noticed that they took care with. Um, the backgrounds. See, I watch the backgrounds a lot, especially with Shinobi. I learned that very early on what parallax scrolling and all that stuff meant to a machine. And some machines weren't able to do it, but Sega was able to do it, and it became a hallmark. And Revenge and Shinobi was that part where he was on the surfboard in the water, and you saw stuff happening in the background. Well, there's a part here where I'm riding on the back of an animal, and the stuff is happening in the background, and it's affecting the foreground, and I'm like, the attention to detail. It's what matters. Like when you break somebody's guard and the screen flashes, and it's like, okay, so at that split second, you're either going to link whatever your next combo move is, or you're going to set up your ninja art to actually take out everybody around. And when you go into your Shinobi art, the animation, which is absolutely seamless, is like he's standing there and his suit is on fire, and he's channeling all his chi, and then he slams his hand down on the ground. Hiya! The music, the sound, the animation, everything is a cornucopia of love for the character. You have to start with a sense of love to get these level of graphics, right? To say this is just not right here, and I need to have the shade of this a little bit more. And I didn't see anything that was out of frame. Now, I will say this. Ragebound took a different, like we're looking at different ninja styles this year. We're looking at 3D, we're looking at 2D, and so far the only 2D newer ones that we have right now, and it's going to be a comparison, is Ragebound and it's going to be Shinobi. Now, Ragebound took the 32-bit, 16-bit pixel art style and expounded on that, and wanted to go back to that style and stay in that formula. This was more of 32-bit, 64-bit style in 2D art transference, like it was made on the Dreamcast. Like this is what was supposed to happen with Sega's version of a 2D Shinobi on a Dreamcast. This is what it felt like. That or Saturn. It felt like I was playing on a Sega console
Mm-hmm.
because the love, and you couldn't tell me that the love wasn't from the original
Oh man,
creators
you
because
see it.
nobody does this, but graphically intense. It's intense. It's probably the best 2D
Mm.
platformer graphically
Mm.
that I've seen this generation or last generation.
Mm. You're doing
The
that.
only thing that really compares to me, I think, is Cuphead. Like
That's it.
it's
Mm.
Cuphead, really.
You're right. You're right.
So yeah,
Cuphead. Yeah.
so we're there on the art style, that animation in conjunction with the art style
I,
thing is where we go with it.
It's
you
crazy.
say this
It's second to
generation?
none.
Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah.
You agree?
Well, this generation, yeah. I think the only game I could really say that is on par or surpasses it is Ori. That's it.
Well,
Like I can't.
Yeah, and Ori-
I can't.
Ori's gorgeous as well. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
Ori's
I
gorgeous.
can't
Ori's
think of
gorgeous.
like it because like this game does very well in terms of like animations, but like when you're playing Ori, you're fighting the owl in the air, like you have to constantly like the feathers coming off. Like they put a lot of attention, but they probably had double the budget this game had. Like the individual Ben, the amount of detail and what he was able to achieve with this game is crazy. Like this game, I'm sitting there playing it, just like little things, like being able to switch back and forth between moves, just the animations with the ultimates, the ninjus or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
The Nimpongs,
Yeah. So it's just like, just those by itself, they all have different aspects. The fact that, they didn't just take a ninja and let's make him have a red shirt on this time, but he's just going to be a little stronger. Okay, we'll give him a red shirt, but he's going to have a different move. He's going to move differently. He's going to behave differently. And I respect that because, like, sometimes I get annoyed when companies do that. They just, okay, this ad's going to be black, but he's just going to be stronger. He's going to be beefier. He's going to take more damage. Like certain of those electric type of abilities, like, they evolved them. They're just not stronger now. Instead of like doing the lightning things, he could put a whole AOE around him full of lightning. And they keep. And then it's like, and then after that, then they started doing like the Destiny thing, which is going to give everyone shields, but they didn't overdo it. I didn't feel like it was it was overwhelming. Sometimes they would put the bow chicks, the ones that just shoot arrows up in the air. They would give her a shield, and I'd be like, man, Shinobi, that's not fair. Like they'll give like three of them at the top. I think this is some of the best artistic style, because I think that's the new term that we're using these days. Artistic style in terms of how to go about making a 2D game. And keep in mind, I'm the definition of a 3D gamer. I don't touch 2D. I'm allergic to it. I get hives. But not one time playing this did I feel this felt like a game that would be on par with like an Ori or these other games. And the boss fights, the way they interacted with you, the the animations of the boss fights, and I like what they use that dark ability, and like they were just like, they didn't just use, okay, we're going to give people these dark abilities, and we're just going to have like one animation. Everyone's got a variety of animations in terms of those dark abilities that you can't dodge. Like, you have to either parry them with the blue ninjutsu thing, or you have to just jump over it, or you can't even face through it. You will get hit. So as far as like the atmosphere, they did a good job on playing the type of music that you would feel like would be in the desert. They did a good job in terms of, I would honestly say, in terms of atmosphere and the artistic choices they went. This was one of their strongest arms. Like definitely a foundation of this game was the way they designed this game in terms of artistic and atmosphere.
For sure. So let's continue to talk about that art, that graphic style, any standout, levels to you, also that just kind of maybe either blow you away or impress you.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, like this is a work of art. And you could tell the love and the care that was taken to take this character to the next level. Like I said, like the classic Shinobi games I love, but they're, generally they're pretty stiff moving. Like, he doesn't, he's a ninja that's walking down the block,
Walking down the block like this, straight down back in the day. You're right.
And it wasn't, and I loved all those games, like the original Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer. But it wasn't until Shinobi 3 where I was like, he's jumping from wall to wall. He's moving like it was something about that animation. And then when I see this game, I was like, okay, they needed to take him to this next level. So I remember when I first saw this game, when they first announced that Sega was bringing back all these dormant franchises, and we saw a little bit of like Jet Set and a little bit of like Crazy Taxi. We saw a little bit of Golden Axe. And Shinobi was the one that stood out. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I saw this. I was like, hold up. That looks like a cartoon. What's going on here? And I'm be honest, I saw that. I was like, I was excited, but I'm like, I didn't know. You just never know, right? And then I said, I saw Lizard Cube is making it. I'm like, I got confidence.
I got confident quick. Same. I was like, oh,
really quick. I was like, again, I've loved their previous 2 outings and the reverence that they show for the Sega IP. I was just like, oh wait, okay. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. So when I finally got this game, and just I would stand there, like King would say, I would stand there just observing things and seeing things scroll from the foreground to the background. When you're just running, and again, his animations are so fluid that that's not motion capture, that's hand drawn. Every single animation is drawn by hand.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, Chronicles of Riddick, when that leader would move, his shadow would move behind him.
Yes. It is that thing where it's like you're looking at it. I'm like, wow, this is, I haven't really seen something this detailed before. And again, to see it in the Shinobi game was even that much more exciting for me. So I'm doing stupid things like running back and forth just to see what scrolls in and out. And I'm just like, and I'm seeing that you moving forward and you seeing the ninja kind of keeping pace with you, ready to jump into the foreground with you. And then you see the ninjas behind you trying to jump into the foreground with you, and they're in the background. And then you couple that with the music, you couple that with the sound effects, you couple that with the weather effects that are happening and the lighting and everything. Aesthetically, this game is absolutely a labor of love, and it shows in every single animation that you see here. I'm gonna be honest, the stage that really stood out to me,
give me a favorite.
The festival.
Oh, festival was hard.
Yeah. I got something.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, festival.
I mean, and I've seen, like, again, the thing is they all stand out to me for different reasons, because you have stages like the festival that is outside. You're seeing the fireworks. You're seeing the sort of iconic Japanese structures and things like that. And it's celebratory, but at the same time you're fighting through this area. And then you have underground areas. You have even the beginning of the game, the Oboro Village.
The Oboro Village was hard.
It was crazy, because when you're making your way back to your dojo after you realize that Lord Ruse has like murdered your entire clan, and you see when you're like you see the scope of the entire village, and you see
everybody frozen up,
everybody frozen like that. But then you see the architecture in the village, and I'm like, hold up! Like as you're getting to the dojo, they have like these massive statues, and I'm like, oh wow! And like I said, everything about this world has gotten the biggest glow up I've ever seen. Like
I love when you're at the beginning and you go by and you see the giant fiend in the background moving, and I'm just like, yeah, how am I supposed to fight that? I have kunais, my dude. Nice. Like that. I'm looking at the back. There's tanks back there, my dude. Like
so the tanks storming the city.
So the tanks.
But he's able to use styles to
exactly. I mean, listen, Joe Musashi has fought Spider-Man. He's fought Batman.
Not at the beginning. Look, man, you guys are going with this previous knowledge. Like, I'm going to there pretty much naked and afraid. I don't know what's going on here.
So let me give you a little bit of context for like Revenge of Shinobi, the original Revenge of Shinobi when it came out. They had so many characters and they had no business having it. They did not ask
They
for
was
the
lit. They had
license.
them
Spider-Man.
licenses,
Yeah.
boy. They was ready.
They had Spider-Man. They had Batman. They
Batman.
had the
Those are
Terminator.
bosses.
Bosses. They were
Original.
bosses in the game. They had Rambo. They had
Rambo.
Rambo. They
Terminator.
had Godzilla.
Zilla.
Bro,
Yeah.
so in later versions of the game, like the 1.2 or 2.0, whatever, like for instance, Godzilla, they had to take him out and he had to become like a skeleton of a dinosaur. Spider-Man, they actually did get the license and were allowed to use him, and he looked even more like Spider-Man. Batman, they couldn't get. They had to turn him into this. They turned him into like this demon bat. There was like an anime thing. So yeah, Joe Musashi can handle it.
That's probably why he
You know
went.
what my
That's probably
part
why.
was? Like when I was coming through and I'm in the facility. Because I know that Shinobi turns, it's taught to turn to mechanical at some point.
Yeah, like
Right.
industrial at some point. Yeah.
It goes organic and then it gets to machines and stuff at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And then it goes like supernatural. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So you have these stages of Shinobi. But I didn't know it was going to happen so early on. And so when I get to the mechanical area and then I'm falling down and it like kind of scales out. And I'm noticing I've only had this done in Neo Geo games where the scale, like they would scale the sprite of the character.
Yes.
Good call out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And it's such an underutilized technique that they're utilizing it here.
Yes.
You made me think of Metal Slug right now when they scale out. When you zoom in and then all of a sudden you scale out and you're like, oh wow, they have this
the
entire
boss.
yes, the bosses, yes.
So it scaled out, and I saw in the background that they was putting together some giant robot, and I'm falling.
I know. Yeah, that part is crazy.
I said, "Oh my Lord!"
Yeah,
And
I'm
then-
like, I hope I ain't got to fight.
That's the first thing I said.
No, that
But
boss
then-
was bad. He was like some Guyver looking thing, and you scaling
Right.
down, you fall down the whole side of this structure, this beast.
and you fall at least 7 levels down.
Yeah.
But then I look at the map immediately when I hit the ground. I said, "Oh, this is a boss fight." Then I was like, "No, this room is too big to be a boss fight." But then I seen branches, different branches to go places. I said,
Bro,
"This is a whole big board."
yes, why are these stages this big and
It is.
expensive?
It is.
But,
Again,
yeah.
when we think about the history of Shinobi and what those stages were, like nothing compared to
Nothing
what they
compared
did
to
here.
this.
Nothing.
Yeah,
They just did so much. Like it just again, it was so surprising. Like every little thing in this game is such a like exponential like just glow up over what we know the Shinobi to be.
Yeah,
It is like again, I'm sorry to be bloviating and like gushing, but I'm just like, dude, like you don't understand. Like in what world did I ever think that in 2025 Shinobi's getting a game like this?
That's the thing. And let me jump in. Here's the thing for me. I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, the character art looks great, but like King is saying, you're looking at the backgrounds, you're like, God damn, this thing, like the market. I don't know if you got to the market with the docks and the water.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God. And you got Dead Neon City. It reminded me of Revenge of Shinobi. When you get to that one, it reminds me of Revenge of Shinobi Chinatown, but like with verticality. There's a Sega building and he's got artwork
of Yuzo Koshiro. You see his face? I was like,
I'm
yo.
like, bro, what is going? Like the reverence, the fancy, but you could tell like Ben and his team is taking this somewhere else. And then I gotta give added credit because it was one stage I know you guys haven't done it yet, but when you guys get to the desert, it is special. Like first of all, the music's hitting crazy in that board, but it is what they're doing. I've never seen Joe Musashi in this environment. And it just looks so cool. The orange hues and everything that's going on, and you're going down in the desert, stuff like that. And I gotta give him this. There were 3.
I like the suits.
Oh, the suits are fire. The 3 callback moments from an artistic standpoint and from a fan service. I'm not gonna spoil because it was so special. I was just like, wow, that's special. All right. When you get to the Joy, he got You know, in arcade when they had the little people tied up and
Yeah,
he had the rest. He got. I said, "Oh, that's arcade Shinobi right
As
there."
soon as I
right?
saw it, I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, "Oh, we doing that? We doing that bit?" Like he's got so much. There's I get started on the chase sequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
The chase sequences. I was like, "Oh, that's Black Turtle."
Mm-hmm.
Remember we used to fight Black Turtle the second.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
is one when you're gonna get to. I'm not gonna spoil it because the fans need to feel how I felt brand new, not knowing. There is one boss
Mm-hmm.
that I said, "Hey, yo, we doing that? We
That.
bringing that back?"
We bringing that back, and we have a heartfelt kind of story behind it. And I was like, oh, excuse me.
Excuse me, and that's when we're gonna transition to the next.
Oh wait,
We're
well,
gonna
you
get
talk
there.
about the one when he say, and I'm not gonna give nothing
Yeah,
away.
don't give
When
it
he
away,
was like, "You should have killed me.
Yep.
You left me here."
When that people don't understand.
That's where
that
I'm at right now.
Oh, you call? I'm so glad you got there.
No,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
there, I said, "Oh, I remember you."
Yeah,
Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, you don't. I'm glad to see you. You should have killed me."
yes.
I was like, "Oh snap!
The
He's
narrative,
doing
the
it."
fan service to that, like the nerve for Shinobi to even try to have a narrative is another. We're gonna get into
Is
narrative.
another. We'll
It's
get into
another. We're gonna
that.
get into that. But it's just when I saw that and I was just like, wow, this is someone that appreciates every single game. And that people don't understand. For reference, that was one of the hardest older
Yeah, he's hard as
Shinobi
hell now.
to
Yeah.
reimagine stuff
And
like
that
that.
was one of those. Yeah, exactly. Yo, when I saw him, the PTSD kicked in
Yeah.
because I was like, I hate your damn guts.
I said, Attic, you don't understand the terror that boss used to cause.
Yeah, he's causing it again right now.
Yeah. So you got that.
Yo,
But
you know
you
he's
know
a
what, the
bad
king
boss
though. But
with
you're
the
better
same part.
equipped. You're
Yeah,
better
you better
equipped.
equip. No. You were better equipped. I went back and I started adding stuff. I said, you know what? I was doing too much. I was getting too reckless because the save spot is right before him. I know he's bad when the save is right next to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know it's bad. Yeah, they want you to go. So look, let's transition right to we almost
Before
No,
we
please,
the
please,
last
go,
thing
go.
I will say about the
Please,
graphics, because
please.
you guys touched upon like how the character model looks, right?
Yeah.
And that I mentioned it before. It's a very painterly sort of art style that seems to flow almost like with like brush strokes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What makes it stand out, as somebody who used to draw a little bit, is the idea of the thickness of the outlining, the thickness of the black outline.
Mhm.
It makes them stand out in a way that, again, when the flow of the movement, if you animate well, and this reminded me of when I first saw Street Fighter 4, when Street Fighter came back.
Okay.
And it had that same thing where the art style,
paintbrush.
it was like this paintbrush art style where the outlines were very thick black lines, and it made everything stand out.
Mhm.
What
And
was
then,
that dog name that you played? And it was from Capcom.
it was
Origami?
Okami.
Okami.
That's
yes,
that's the art
same
style.
type of thing. Like, it really makes it stand out. And what's crazy about this game is that the level, you would think that because of that level of sort of detail, that the animations could not keep up with it.
Right.
And we'll get into gameplay in a second, but the idea that something that looks that good and animates that well is that tight to control,
Right.
is insane. It's really insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, well said. We got to get to it. It's for Addict, combat. We got to get to this combat. Again, for Shinobi games, we usually it's the attack, the jump, a ninja magic, but we've seen a lot more added here. So tell me about your experience with the combat, combos, movement, the platform. Like, how did you feel about the core gameplay of Shinobi Art of Vengeance?
It was extremely impressive, actually. I feel like besides the platforming and the art style, like this is definitely where it stood its ground. Just the availability of playing how you want to play. They give you multiple options. Like, Cog was real big on using the abilities. And I'm going to be real with you. I used everything in there to make it to where I could just keep going until I keep going anymore. I rarely, besides the giant shuriken, I did use that a few times. But
So the Nimpo with the big shuriken, use that one.
That
Okay.
was essentially it, because once I found out like the kunais do massive rage damage to people, what I would do, take your armor out, get some distance, kunai, 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 and then especially the big dudes, they were a little bit annoying, and then once I got a rhythm to that, what I liked is because you sometimes you would accidentally kill them instead of executing them.
Yes.
But there's an ad where it's like a Shomu or something like that. Like they constantly heal everyone around them. I would let that dude live. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use you so I can execute everybody. I'm gonna get everyone's stuff, and then
getting off on the executions, getting multiple.
And then by the time I got to the dude healing everyone, because if you execute him, you get pretty much full health, essentially, almost full health.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the way they threw that. They always put new variety of type of ads in there. I always felt like I was fighting someone different. Never felt out of place. There were a couple. Some of the ninjas was annoying. They'd be really quick in it.
That the one with the big sword that does the dash.
Yeah, so
it takes mad energy if you.
So there's these rifts that you go out through the game. It's like the most difficult parts of Shinobi, and there's these parts of there's a couple rifts that's strictly combat. So I got into one where they were not only overwhelming me with ads, they were putting specific ads to mess with me more. Like sometimes they'll be at the bottom where they can, because they don't jump up. There's very few ads that actually will follow you for the smoke. Right. They're like territorial. They'll go off where they are. But the lightning chick, she ain't that person. She shoots you anywhere she is. So they'll put two of her up at the top. And keep in mind, you're getting hit with every shot, not just once. There's two of them.
Yes.
So two lightnings go out back to back. So I'm having to worry about that. And then I just got to the point where I'm like, I'm knocking all of you off the map. Like, we ain't doing this no more. What I like about this is a lot of games like this, what they'll do is they'll have these, you can get recoiled, but they can't.
Yep, but they can't.
But if anything they did to you, you could do to them.
You could do to them. You could knock them in the water. You could knock them off and they will suffer the consequences as if you suffer the. That's a good call out. Rarely games do that. Continue.
Yeah, so really enjoy that. There's a different variety of especially bosses. I won't go into specific bosses, but it's got a lot of good bosses, a lot of unique bosses. There was one nitpick where they reused the boss. I wasn't really feeling that.
Yeah, there's one I didn't like that one.
But there was a reasoning behind reusing him, so I guess I kind of overlook it on that. I do feel like there were some missed moments in terms of combat where they could have really heightened the lore, but obviously probably would add another $50,000-$60,000 onto the budget, probably a couple more months. So, and those are truly nitpicks. Probably the biggest thing that I would really criticize this game is, in terms of platforming, I feel like the grappling hook is very inconsistent. Sometimes it'll go the way you want, sometimes it doesn't. So I think if people, come down on this game for platforming, that's going to be the real reason, because the platforming in this game is phenomenal. But when you put yourself in situations where you need to use that grappling hook, which is a lot, if you don't use the grappling hooks in a specific way, you're going to end up dead. And this isn't one of those things where you get hit by something, takes a little bit of health, and you like recoil back off of it. No, you vanish. And in a lot of ways, this game, what Joe? What did you say his name?
Joe Musashi.
Joe Musashi getting revived over and over again. Because I don't know if you guys noticed it, but if you open up doors or did anything in that and you died, they acted like you did all that, regardless if you died and got spawned back. So I feel them on that. I think that is a pretty good middle ground where it's like, look, we understand. We're not going to make you redo all this. We're going to go ahead and let you just continue on with the progress. Platforming is, like I said, there's a lot of variety of ways that they improve on the platforming. Felt like every stage they had something else that was dedicated to something else, how you wanted to fight. Then they'd go back where you had to use both of them similar at once. This is a very diverse variety style game in terms of combat, in terms of platforming, in terms of just about anything you could think of. And I have to really give my hat off to them because they did something that I don't do very often. They had me replaying stages.
That's what I knew you loved the game.
And I don't do
when
that.
you was going
I
back
don't-
for
I
collectibles and
don't-
replays, I was like,
because the collectibles wasn't book bags, it wasn't coins, it wasn't feathers, it was stuff
Rewarding.
that's going to actually improve my character from doing the elite squad. Which, for those of you who don't know, the elite squad is essentially you fighting this
They
toughest
are out of
ads.
control.
they
bro.
out of control. And they make you fight them in wild scenarios.
Yeah, so you'll fight pretty much the toughest ads that's in that time of the game. So if you go back and do the elite squads once you're 2 or 3 stages up, probably won't be as difficult. But if you do them when you first get to the stage, they are relatively tough. And then you got the currency for the store. I can't remember what that's called, but
Yokai, whatever.
The currency is just gold. It's just gold.
yeah, so you find these gold pieces throughout the map that's in treasure chests, and that's a collectible. But it's not just a collectible that you just put in your pocket and never see. You can go to the store and you can cash it in for new abilities, a variety of stuff. And then you got the stuff that you get from the rifts. I'm not going to really go into that. These are some of the hardest content in the game,
yeah.
and they reward you. Maybe not individually, but if you do them all, you're rewarded heavenly. There's secret bosses in the game from doing other variety of things that I didn't even get to myself. I did all the rifts. I did all of them last night.
Those are some of the hardest things.
Yeah.
He's glossing over that. The Anko Rifts, for those who are listening, are basically secret areas in the game where there's a character that takes you basically to another realm. These things are the most challenging things where they either test you on platforming or sometimes just all-out combat.
Yes.
And
Or everything.
Or everything. And this is where it gets for the hardcore because let's get Shinobi does have some level of forgiveness. A lot of times when you fall, you just lose energy and then put you right back there.
Right.
You fall, you lose energy, put you back. Oh no. You fall and it'll be a long stage or something. Back to the beginning, sir. Back to the beginning. If you don't do this perfect.
Yeah, these riffs are really harkening back to 16-bit gameplay. Like
that part.
Yeah,
that part. It really is like, yeah, you gotta start again.
Yeah,
Everything.
and the rifts are, I do feel that they're very challenging, but they're not impossible. For the most part, once it's really about getting used to like a rift, you'll unlock new items in the game, and the rift's like, yeah, you're using that the whole rift. We got to make sure by the time you finish this rift, anything involving this item going forward, you got that. So they did a lot of that when it comes to the combat. It was those rifts are fun, man. Those rifts are fun. I do want to go back and do a lot more of the side stuff. What I like about that is the game actually gives you the ability to see the completion rate on every stage. So you can always see exactly what's going on. You click it, it'll tell you what you're missing, what you're not missing. If you come across something on the map and you leave it, let's say you don't finish it or you die and you move on to do something else, it will show you where that's at, so you could always go back to it. This game's got quick travel any place, which makes
thank God. Oh my God, one of the best things. Sorry.
which makes it easy to get around at the time. There was a time where I was actually missing a rift, could not find it. Spent like an hour and a half, which is funny. Cog found it and told me, and it was in the area. I just gave up. I'm like, because in my mind, I've seen this. Like, I went over it. There's no way the rift isn't here. But it was literally in the place I was trying to get to. But I was convinced one of those gold things was in there, and it wasn't the rift. So, all I know is, like, when it comes to platforming, combat, story we'll get to here in a minute, that this game offers you a variety of gameplay in every aspect you can think of. Obviously, the biggest criticism I would give is let me use the joystick in what direction I want to shoot with the grappling hook.
Yeah,
and
that's fair. That's fair.
Literally, besides that, I can't find anything else to nitpick. And I'm the kind of person where I'll have like a Google Doc up and I'll have in green and red. Like, it'll be like bunch of green, bunch of red. This is what I like. This is what I didn't like. Most of the time, there's a lot of green, and but there's almost just as much red. Sometimes like half the red. There's like 2 red and like 30 green. And I'm sitting here like, I can't feel like I'm glazing this game. I gotta find something that irritates me, but I couldn't find it. I was like, damn near a perfect game. Like, it really is in all aspects. Like,
and that's huge. I'm gonna pass it to Kick, but that's huge because, again, I'm such a Shinobi. For all of us, us three are such Shinobi fans. There's a part of me that's like, am I too close? Right? Am I so happy that I'm loving something? And it's like, oh, bro, that's just your favorite game. You gonna have a 2-point scale bias because it's Shinobi coming back, and you're just happy. But to hear Addict, I'm like, Addict, play this and let me know, because Addict gonna tell you. He gonna tell you he ain't feeling so. He gonna tell. So he's like, no, this game is lit. Like he's like, this game.
I was like, you're not fanboying out. It's not your bias. The game is measuring your expectations.
I was like, the core gameplay is lit like that. I was like, oh, the old head feels good right now. It was a grown man. It was a full circle board. But Kay, I want to go to you because you've been waiting. In terms of like that combat, that platform, and what was some of the moves that you like? What did you get into? What was the flow like? What was the vibe like? And the fights and the bosses? What would you like it?
All right, so it's like the first time you ever get something like a new poem and the fire breath. So when you do it and you're like, and I'm like, I gotta get more, right? I gotta get more. So I get to the store and it's like, what you buying?
What you buying?
When he said that, I was like, oh, man.
I know what they're doing.
Yeah, that was good. That was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm all in. And then you see the moves. It dangles the carrot perfectly, but every carrot is a payoff. The moment that you do get to the carrot, there's an absolute payoff. That charge up punch to bust somebody's shield. I had just got to the part where I'm fighting the dudes with the shield and the mace.
Oh, bro, they problems.
And I'm like, either I'm rolling out of the way, or I'm rolling back, or I'm rolling forward. But it's like, oh man, I just want to get him. So now I charge it. He have it up in the air, and I charge it, and I crack his shield, and I work him over. Pause. The dive kick.
Oh, classic Shinobi 3. Oh,
and I will say that dive kick was the VIP for me. Because I'm a very aggressive player, and if I could dive kick straight to your face, like
that diagonal and extend platform. Continue.
The dive kick is probably the most OP regular attack. Like it'll literally knock somebody out. It'll really take half their energy, and you can follow it up with a slash, and you're in there. You could break the elite shields with a dive kick. I just felt that a well-timed dive kick into the spin, because I got the spin blade. When I got the ability to throw the 5 kunai.
Oh, cool. That's the throwback to Revenge of Shinobi. Throwback.
Remember when we got the first time we was able to do it, and we'll do the flip and we'll throw it. I was like, oh, they're doing it. It's just so many different things. The parry block, the block, so when I do the water style.
See, I'm good. I'm terrible at that. You was able to get that off?
I'm perfect with it because when I'm fighting,
got that off.
Of course, I know
I was garbage. I gave up on it. I gave up on that.
Stand there and wait to do it.
Oh my God, for real, because you set it up and that water style, and you know somebody's gonna be extra overzealous. Like it's those elites. Those elites, they want to bombard you. Right, so what I do is I take out the 2 with the bow and arrows, because they are
that
dangerous.
chick is she be talking spicy,
and it has splash damage. It just doesn't
exactly.
Hit.
You can't. It doesn't hit right there. You have to get out of the way.
Right, so you have to really have a distance. So you take them out, and then for those extra overzealous dudes, I use my card parry, and I sit there and I block. And the penalty when they hit you is terrible for them.
It feels terrible, yeah.
And
so King, did you have? There's an amulet that gives you a double swipe on the parry.
No, I didn't get it yet.
Yes.
It gives you, if you equip the amulet as a passive, it will give you, it will turn that nippon into a double swipe off that parry.
Yeah. Talking about passives.
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about these amulets.
It's okay. So I'm playing normal, right? I'm playing Shinobi. Then I got to the map. Then I seen gear. And I seen styles and stuff. I was like, what's this?
What's this?
I said, oh, snap. This is an RPG.
We got a skill tree in a Shinobi game? What are we doing?
I said, I could put this on passively. And it made me think about how I play. Do I want to stack the bread or do I want the health? Do what do I need at this board? And you don't have to be the one same ninja every board. Like you could change it up to be the ninja for the moment. And I was like, oh, I could play how I want to play. This is it. I said they literally, like, see, because they could have milled this in.
They could have milled
this could have been so left. Like it could have been mid. It could have been absolutely mid. And dudes would have been happy with it.
Yes.
You could have had those same bosses, just mid, go from here, no Metrovania style, anything.
Yeah.
None of that. But the fact that you decided that you're going to give maximum effort and reward the player for playing greatly. And let me tell you, the control on everything is spot. Oh, don't think you're going to leave an enemy, a flying enemy, back at the beginning of the board. That flying enemy will follow you throughout the whole board.
Yeah, they will. They will. Especially there's these blue ones at the end.
All the horse faces.
They will literally chase you to the ends of. They will literally chase you to the ends of time.
Platform hating.
Like I'm used to 16-bit, 32-bit off the screen. They disappear. They're not counted about. No.
They don't fit in the memory. They don't fit in the
RAM. We got enough RAM to remember. Oh man, I didn't get to the grappling hook yet, and I've seen the places where I'm supposed to get it. But
when you get it, it's just like I said. Outside of the directional issue that me and Attic have, it's a feeling. It just, I know Saul's going to get to it when you get to it.
Yeah, because I want to talk about the directional issue because I kind of figured out we're being too overzealous with it. You don't want to press a direction when you do it. You just want to, exactly. And then the only time you want to press a direction is when it purposely shoots you off into a direction into the opposite direction of where the next grappling hook is, and you have to re-grapple it to go to the other direction. That's the only time you really want to actually press the directional button. Otherwise, it will do exactly what you would. Because I had problems when the helicopter pursuit.
Some of that chase sequence is amazing.
The chase sequence, I was pressing forward. I'm like, I'm pulling forward. But you can press forward throughout that entire sequence, except when you're grappling. When you grapple, if you press forward, he's going to get confused. He's going to grapple right back into the drama.
So it's just press it and without the direction.
Just press it, and once you see that the next grapple hook opens up for you, just grapple it. Unless you see that it shoots you back in the wrong direction because it's purposely doing that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only time you have to redirect it forward. Beyond that, just grapple. As soon as you see the next one available to grapple, do it without a directional press. Yeah, because I got very frustrated with that, and I was like, let me try different ways of doing this, and that happened to work for me.
All right. Good.
Yeah, no problem. So it was these little white structures that was on the walls, and I was like, what are these little white So I had to do something, and I did something, and I forced somebody, and I beat them up, and I got something. And I got my claws. Now, it took me back to when I first saw ninjas, and we all know ninjas have claws to climb trees, right? That's the dude. And I was like, I could do it. And I'm climbing the walls, and I'm bouncing off the walls, and I'm making it to different heights of the game. I just said, the thought process that they went into this, they immediately they wanted to get another IP. I seen what you did with Streets of Rage. We now see what you have done here.
Whoa.
They're trying to control all the IPs.
I don't want to downplay it because I don't even know what team is making it.
Right.
But I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, they didn't give them Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. Yeah, I was thinking about doing Golden Axe too. Yeah.
And then I saw the He-Man game that they just showed at Gamescom. And I'm like, they should have given them Golden Axe. Like, oh my God.
I'm glad they chose that for Shinobi.
I'm glad they did too.
Listen, they got a lot of IPs, and I just know that regardless to what, his name is in the hat. Because once the reviews come out, once everybody get a chance to actually play this game, you're gonna realize the Addicts is just not glazing the game.
Yeah.
you're going to realize that what we're saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible.
Yeah, I want to get this off. Let's talk about it. Combat, the platform, all that. Just what was you doing with the flows, what the moves? Give me the amulets. What was the thing? What was the soft style? You was water style Nimpo with
Oh yeah.
what you doing?
So let's go with just the sword combat first, like sword combat, and obviously projectile with the kunai.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you guys were saying, like to go into the menu and see a move set that is as robust as the one you get in this game. And the way they dangle the carrot in front of you is that you have to keep finding these the relics in order to, you know, unlock more stuff in the store. And it's all move based, and it's all additive on your base set, your base strikes, your light strike, your heavy strike. It's all very fighting game-esque in that it's all about, hey, the light ones kind of stun them. You hit them with a kunai, you will stun somebody, and then all of a sudden you can come in with the heavy swipe and you juggle them. All of a sudden they're in the air, and now they're open for all kinds of juggles.
Oh, forgot about the juggles.
And you jump in the air and you can continue to swipe them and you continue to juggle them. And then when you're looking at your hit multiplier, you're like at 50 hits. And I'm like, what is this game? Like, what have they done here? He has such a varied move set that is all just flows in from move to move so beautifully. I'm gonna be honest, the only thing nitpick that I have is that the animations are so elaborate and they're so good that you can't, sometimes you see a hit coming from an enemy and you're like, I can't stop what I'm doing because I'm in the middle of this animation. And I'm like, I'm gonna get hit. Because I'm trying to be too nice and I try to get these extra hits in, and then all of a sudden, I can't stop myself before I get hit with like Attic was saying, these unblockable moves and stuff like that, where I would usually just kind of roll behind them or phase behind them. So I mean, when I really just got my hands on that hand-to-hand and kunai combat and doing all those combos and whatnot, I was just like, I could not believe that I had that robust of a move set at my disposal. So, my way to play is really just kind of, again, I like to like chuck a kunai at them, stun them a little bit, then I rush up on them, couple of light swipes, heavy swipe, get them up in the air, and then I just juggle the hell out of them until they get that little sign above their head.
I get excited when I see that execution sign.
And then to Addict's point, I did the same thing. I leave you alone and I go on to the next one. And then all of a sudden I got 4 or 5 of you guys with that, and I hit that Shinobi execution, and it's so satisfying to go. You jump from both, you just phase in and out of all of them, and you slice them up. It is so beautiful.
You gotta end it like this. You gotta end it when you're in the pose. You know what I'm saying, with the glow.
And I'm just like, it controls so perfectly. So you turn on a dime, you jump on a dime, you can change direction on a dime. Everything, all the tools that they give you at your disposal when it comes to melding the combat with the traversal. You have your double jump, you have your dash through the air, you have your dodge roll that it takes you behind the characters. Then like you guys were talking about the traversal tools, you have the grappling hook, you have there's certain places in the stages you can't get past without a charged up move. So you have your charge punch that allows you to break unbreakable walls that are horizontal, right?
Yes.
And then you get the dive with the sword that allows you to break, to break floorboards that aren't unbreakable and allow you to access other areas and stuff. So it's like when you take all of these things and put them together, right? In terms of combat, I don't know that I've seen a Metroidvania that is this robust in terms of hand-to-hand combat. Maybe a Blasphemous and things like that. But the idea that they gave him so many tools in order for you to play the game kind of your way and pick and choose what kind of Joe Musashi you want is crazy. So that's only the hand-to-hand combat, right? Then we go into the amulets, like we talked about before. You get passive amulets that just give you, like King said, it'll give you more money, or it'll allow you to glean a little more health from enemies when you kill them and things like that. And then you have your combo based amulets
Yes.
that allow you to take your Nimpones, and I haven't talked about your Nimpones. The
Mhm.
Nimpones are amazing because they're all elemental based, right? You
Yes.
have your electric Nimpones, you have your fire Nimpone, you have your wired your water Nimpone. Um, I love that. I love the fact that it's all very elemental and very earthly. And
Yeah.
like you guys alluded to, as soon as I found the parry Nippon, which is the water
I already
Nippon,
know. I already
that's
know.
I have a stand in front of you. I'm gonna parry you and I'm gonna hurt you. Don't. It's like me when I used to when I play Street Fighter and I tell people don't jump, don't ever jump. If you play me in Street Fighter, don't ever jump. If I have a parry, don't try to
Yeah.
hit me. I'm gonna parry you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
parry you. So
That's it.
you know, I just abused that move. So that was amazing to see.
Mhm.
And again, and the passive combo amulet allows you to enhance those moves. So those Nippon, all of a sudden they have levels. They have the 1-star level, the 2-star level, the 3-star level,
Mhm.
and all of those. Like I was telling King, that parry Nippon, it'll give you 2 swipes instead of 1. So you could finish somebody off technically if you have them at low enough energy, right?
Mhm.
And then you have your regular ninja magic.
Oh.
And those are your ninjutsu magic, right? And those are the ones that take up the entire screen. It's this beautifully animated, elaborate thing that just murder animation that happens on the entire screen. But it's not only you have your healing one, which I've started to use now as the game has
Yeah.
gotten a little bit harder.
They
I
had me
started
at it,
using
guys. Yeah, that's the MVP right there. People sleeping.
so I have that one. Obviously, the fire one, the dragon one is the first one you get, and that's so cool because again, it envelops the entire screen in like
Mhm.
red, and the dragons going
Oh.
back and forth. And you set everything on
And
fire.
callbacks to original
Yes,
Revenge of Shinobi, the
Shinobi.
exact ninja
Ex-
magics. They got them, the Raijin, the
exactly.
Fujin. And these are the joints, bro. Like
Yes, yes,
crazy.
yes, yes. You have all of that. Um, Dude, like I was really taken aback with the game that they built around this. And then you add all of that, right? You could have added all that to just a basic action platformer, and that would have been great. But when you turn that into also a Metroidvania, and now all of those tools you've been given to traverse the world and combat in the world now are also served to find places that you are not able to access at certain parts of the game because you don't have the correct thing.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, I'm a Metroid ever since I played Symphony of the Night and Super
Yep.
Metroid, all
Yep.
these things that led up to Symphony of the Night, which to me is still the greatest Metroidvania ever. Um, the idea of that sensation of discovering something new and being able to traverse a space that you weren't able to before, and that you
Yes.
got the thing you achieved your goal and got the thing that you needed to be able to traverse that.
It was so good.
It's so satisfying.
Mhm.
And in this game, like what Attic was pointing out before, all of those extra places that you get to go to after you get all of these sort of traversal tools,
The ninja.
the need exactly. All when you get all of that, it's just so satisfying, and all of it is meant to make the character stronger and better and give him more moves. So
Yeah.
none of it feels superfluous. None of it, for Addict, somebody who refuses to do any side stuff and really
This is how you get 'em.
he beelines the game. But when you give him, when you say, oh, your character, you're going to get this upgrade, you're going to get this upgrade, but you have to go through these steps to do this. And the willingness to do it for somebody like Addict, I'm telling you, like, it's like
Yeah, that's huge.
They really
Listen,
built.
Q, they accomplished the mission.
They really did.
No, I
No, they
ain't
really
joking.
did.
Some people will be like, "Oh, I need you to do this." Yeah, that's for someone else. I am not.
That's for some-
I am the main character in this game. That is for a side character. Go talk to the side characters. I'm moving on.
Yeah, yeah.
No doubt. And I'll just wrap up. You guys pretty much took all my points, but just to add on, what I consider the combat
Mhm.
is flow state combat.
Hmm.
And what it is it rewards perfection.
Yes.
It rewards the hit count. And then you can see how the passives of the amulets are tied. Hey, hit count 15 of you not being touched, of hitting people in a row, boom, you get more POW. Oh, 15, 20, you get this now. Your flame ninja magic is more powerful. Like, it encourages this thing. And to me, the game changer is the ninja flip, where you hit, sidestep, go around them, and continue to flow, right? So
Yeah.
you can then now be avoiding the ninja flip and the roll are great avoidance, but continuing the flow. And I had to get that in my head. Wait a minute, I gotta use the ninja flip more because
Mhm.
this way I can go from side to side. Like the armor dude, like say you got fight one of the armor dudes, you
Mhm.
get the vulnerability, you hit him, you can then flip to get to behind him again and keep
Mhm.
all flowing. And that's the state. And I think the game promotes risk reward. But Sav, you said it best too. Like it also when you get overwhelmed, it also promotes execution flows and getting people low. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone right there, and then I can now set up and get a group of you guys together because the game rewards you with health, kunai, and then what Addict said, the kunai game. Like, okay, sometimes the enemy's at a distance here, but maybe I don't want to dive kick over there and put myself at risk. I'm gonna throw the kunai at you. Also, build up an execution meter and then teleport. Now,
Mhm.
here's the where in the late part, the execution meter gets risk reward. Because if you use it too much, you could be put out of position
Shin.
and over like a platform. We don't know. I'm
And
about
you,
to
and you drop and die, and you drop and die.
Eh,
You know
wh-
what? Have you guys? You go ahead, Eric.
I was like, you know how many times I like, especially doing those like harder riffs with combat, where I'd have like half an inch of health, not even that, and I would have to risk killing someone that has fallen a little bit off the map and hope they drop health so I can dash
Yeah.
back on the map because it's either risk it all or die and have to do it again.
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to use patience again. So I was going to say something about that.
Have you guys ever been able to execute a character like you hit a character and you knock him into a place that you can't access? Like for instance, you're not able to access it yet, but you're able to execute him, and you immediately phase into that area that you can't
Oh,
actually
no,
access
I
yet.
didn't. I
I
didn't
never
know
did
that.
I
I've
didn't know you did
used.
that.
I've been almost dead, and I've been like outnumbered, and I would hit one of them. It kind of reminds me of that thing that you reacted to on Naruto Cog, where he
Yeah.
puts the paper bomb and kicks him like like I've done that where it's like I kick someone out of the battle because I'm about to
Yeah.
die, and then I execute them, and I'm on the other side of the map now, and then I just
Yeah.
start throwing
Yeah.
kunais down the map.
Kunai.
Nah,
Cog,
bro,
and you
yes.
talked again about the passives. Did you like? I don't know if any of you guys have used these passives. The one that says like they make the kunai so much more powerful.
Oh, yes, that
but,
was
but
Oh
then,
no,
super
but,
powerful.
no, you give
but-
up
but
five.
you
give up
give
two
up
at a
5
time.
for one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not trying
But
to
they
do that.
powerful though,
Yeah.
because they'll go
I-
through, and you can
You
get
could get a
people
lot of
executed
kunai there
easily
at the end.
at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm learning, guys.
I feel you. I feel you.
but the fact that it allows you to
Allows
do
you
that
to
is
do that.
crazy.
It's crazy. Now
Yeah.
here's my little nitpick because on one side I do love the throwback to the double flip 5/8 shurikens.
That's my
That's
joint.
Revenge Shinobi, right? That's the
Yeah.
joint we grew up with. My only thing is like in early game it's good because you could set up
Yeah, later on,
execution.
probably
Later
not.
game, I'm like, so then I got the amulet that makes it better, and I'm like, man, it's still not strong enough against because when them armor dudes come in the room,
No,
it's like man. So that's my
I like
only.
putting hands on them.
Yeah, you got to put the hands on
Yeah.
that. So we got that. Then I was going to say back quickly with the platform to what I call the Ori move, the jumping in, the ninja dash forward.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love that. That feels good. That never really been a no Shinobi game. So you got that. You got the throwback. Oh, throwback enemies. We got the pistol dude from
He's right there, son.
You got the Revenge of Shinobi ninja that just stands up, jumps, throws 3. You got Red Lobster, the
Yeah,
lobster
Red
guy
Lobster,
from the
yep.
joint.
You got the joint that's flying around and the little orbles.
the
that
little
come out.
bro. He's got so many. He got some of the enemy
I can't
types. So you
stand
got
him,
that.
dude.
Shout out to
like you said, some bosses are regular enemies.
regular enemies now. Mass
Yeah.
ninjas are regular
Yep.
enemies running around with the big sword. I got to master that water style because, like you said, I was using big shurikens one for the armor up close. I do my combo, throw the big one up close. Don't sleep on the jumping one where you slash from down the block on certain bosses. It's really good. You're going to get addict know about this other one. I ain't going to spoil. That is super OP. It just has a slow build up. I ain't going to spoil that one. That one's crazy. As far as Ninja Magic, yes, you got the classics. I never use addict. I never use Raijin, the one that gives you the electric armor that
I used
much.
it
I really get,
twice, but
I didn't really use it. I didn't find like an effective thing
I
for
just
it.
I just spam the healing one, like
Yeah, and then that's what I think the healer was beastie. But and to your point, with this, where the game really takes to the level, every secret, whether it be the Abora relics for the shop also shout out to the elite squads. They're very tough. They're put in very parts of the board where it's crazy. And if you could do that, and you could get some really more cool amulets, you get extra nimpo cells, you get all this other stuff, and it's true challenge besides just platforming as well. So look, I know we're going on. We're going to move on. I do want to get towards the end as far as obviously going to wrap up, but I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is narrative in the Shinobi game. And without going too spoiler, I want to talk about it because let's be honest, like King said earlier, like Shinobi's never been known for any type of story. We opened this game up and I'm like, wait a minute, they're voiced? What's going on? And then I do want to yeah. I'm like, okay. And mind you, call back, Revenge Shinobi at the end, canon ending versus you save her from the thing. So I like where they're going with it, but my question is, they got to talk about the elephant in the room, and this is a point of controversy. Yo, Musashi himself. How are we feeling? I got my thoughts, but I would say, okay, I see where you go.
I love it because I don't want him to have a voice.
You don't want hey guys?
No,
you don't want hey guys? No,
you could mess it up.
You know what? I kind of agree with him.
I think you guys are too tied to the character that you don't want them to mess up the voice of the character. I'm looking at it from the perspective, either voice all of them or none of them. Because it was very weird that I'm having these full-blown dialogues, very serious conversation, and the next, it was just, it wasn't it. It just wasn't. It's just like,
he went to the Link School of Speaking.
You ain't got no problem with Link doing it.
It gives
Link ain't never said word. He's your favorite.
It gives me I'm too tough.
I have vocalized
I'm too tough vibes.
A variety of occasions I wish that Link had a dialogue.
Okay. So you say consistent.
Until they mess him up.
All right. So
until they open his mouth and he not talking right.
So you when it's full on wifey's talking, what you call it? Oh, by the way, we do have a Japanese. We have a dub. We have an English dub, Japanese dub. For those.
I didn't do it. Yeah.
Oh, Japanese dub. Probably fire.
I'm gonna do it.
But I want to hear what they want to say. So King, so why are you convinced this was the right decision by Lizzie Cube and Sega?
Ninjas don't talk. Like all that. Hi, the village is coming.
The ninjas at the beginning that was talking
and all that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Them die.
And they did.
Enemy didn't say, hey, little girl, your little flower running around by yourself.
Yeah.
He's that little pretty flower by yourself.
Unless they get Sho Kazugi to do it, I'm like, no, leave him alone.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm sorry. Are you convinced that this was the right decision?
Imagine you get the call up and you got the voice for Joe
Musashi,
and all you got to do is
here's your check, sir. And you don't even have to do it every time. You just do it once and they record it. That's
it's like the Van Diesel one where he just said, I am Groot.
It's literally, I am Groot. It's literally, good call out. Minor spoiler. There is one word he does say.
Oh, okay.
I won't spoil, but there will be one. He will have a moment. But to your point, Sav, was this the right call? Was this a mistake? Are we being biased, like Attica said, because we are too tied to Joe Musashi? To Joe Musashi, that he should have a narrative when everyone else is speaking to him.
The only thing I hear from you saying now is bias, and bias.
I just, you know what? I agree with King though. It was one of the things that obviously throughout the game, everybody's talking, and then you're like, okay, what are you gonna say, Joe? And he's like, and I'm just like, all right. And initially, it grated on me a little bit, and then as I'm playing, I'm like, you know what? I think this is the right call. In my mind, I'm like, literally, like I just said, unless they get Sho Kazugi. And Sho Kazugi is Joe Musashi, it just very deep, sort of like very dominant style. Other than that, I'm good with him just grunting. I really am. Like he is about his business. He doesn't need to speak. He's about murder and revenge, saving the world. So to me, that as I'm playing, it's the right call. And it falls in line with the ridiculousness of the story, right?
There it is.
Yeah. So for me, let me just get into the narrative real
Yeah.
quick.
No,
Like
please.
it is again. So we haven't necessarily spoken directly about what the narrative is, but the narrative here is basically that the Oboro village. So all the exploits of Joe Musashi are canon in this game.
Yes.
All of Shinobi up until now is canon in this game. So he is known as this hero of the world that has saved the world multiple
Multiple
times.
times.
And his clan, the Oboro clan, is like the most gangster clan of. Again, it's so funny that this clan of ninjas that lives in like this remote Japanese sort of
Yeah.
town or whatever. They're known throughout the world as like the saviors of the
The
world. The
saviors of
Joe
the world.
Musashi is the Superman of this.
Yeah.
So, but he has a new enemy that has arisen, Lord
Lord
Ruse.
Rouge.
Lord Ruse,
The rules.
and he's basically taken over different countries and parts of the world and established this huge like military organization called the ENE Corporation. And he basically his aim is of course to take over the world. And of course the only person that can
The
stop
only
him
person,
is
of course.
Ninja Joe Musashi.
Of course. Of course.
It is ridiculous, but in all the best ways because it has so much reverence. The fact that they're not starting from the beginning is like, no,
Yeah.
this is the beginning of Shinobi. No,
No, everything he did.
everything he did is here. And we talked about certain characters coming back. And if you've played these games, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe this character's in here. All of that harkens back to old games. So these are all his exploits. So the fact that they created narrative and lore and canon around this game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it shows so much love and reverence
Yeah.
that I just whatever the foolishness comes out of their mouths, it doesn't matter. Like the people that he's paired with throughout this adventure it's bonkers. Like it's
Yes.
really
Yes.
bonkers.
Yes. Yes.
So
They definitely don't go there.
it is so ridiculous. But again, it is the hero taking on
Yeah.
this unstoppable force that's trying to dominate the world. That's what it is, and it is such an '80s concept.
Oh, yeah.
But I love it. I love it.
And I will say, because you guys, Attic and I finished it, I will say,
Yeah.
without spoiling, we talk about levels and art style and all that stuff, but there is a moment, me and Attic talked about, I was like, wow, that looks so cool based on it built to a moment, and it looks so cool art style wise. I don't want to get too crazy, but it almost gave me, I would say, an end game feel from an artistic standpoint of the stakes of what had to happen when you guys get there. And I thought that was really cool. But to your point, I don't have too much to add. So I'm just like, look, the fact that they try to have any form of a comprehensive story in a game that has never had any narrative, like the most you got from a Shinobi game was you'd get a wall of text at the game start, Neo-Zed, evil organization, terroristic threat, blah, 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 blah. Nothing throughout the game, and then at the end of the game, the end, nice music and a little cinema. That was Shinobi narrative.
That was it.
That's what we dealt with. Like we had nothing about the Oboro, any in depth. So the fact that there was an attempt by Ben and the team, I thought was actually cool, and I thought it was like, okay, it's serviceable in an '80s action foolish way, right? Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. So that's all I really had to add to that. Unless King added any more, then we'll wrap up towards this end. But look, for me, I will say we got to talk about like what the ranking. Where we at,
is okay. Is one
please.
aspect of the story that I love more than anything.
I'm sorry.
When you encounter a boss, the boss monologues,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
and the boss
talking throughout.
right, the boss monologues because Joe doesn't. So the boss monologues, and then it's like a round one fight scene.
Yeah,
like,
the fight is
like-
on. Yeah.
like because
Tell me that beat, King, when that beat hit when you about to fight the. It showed like verses.
It's like a versus.
Yeah, you like, oh,
I'm like,
okay.
what's up?
Yeah.
I said, even here, it's like he captured our youth. He captured everything that made it fun about arcades, about fighting, about side scrollers, about animation, and he said, what was missing? It's like he had a checklist.
Yeah.
What was missing?
Yeah.
And what I can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Joe never talked, so we ain't gonna talk. We're gonna have everybody else talk, and they're gonna talk excessively, and they're gonna monologue like it's back in the 90s.
Yes.
Right. And it's going to be so cringe that it's good. Right? Because I mean the story.
Little man. Yeah. Yo, even the monkey boss was talking. Oh,
That
wow.
monkey boss, he said, I'm gonna bring hell down on you. I loved all of it. So as soon as they showed the monkey with
the monkey with the
and then he got a it was dope. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's just little small aspects of it that make it great. And even the fact that we've never had a story and he gave it a nice story. A nice little narrative for you to get through and didn't mess it up. My only thing I can keep telling y'all this. It only took one or two things to mess it up. And he never did it.
Yeah.
He didn't mess up the storyline. He didn't mess up the gameplay. He didn't mess up. So I thought that it went above and beyond.
Yeah.
So it's just that little aspect of it, that boss encounter. I was just like, hold on, wait a second. We can't leave without talking about the boss.
No, thank you. I completely forgot about that. Like, that's a huge part. Even standard enemies will talk. They talk. Like, he's over there. Get him. This, that, and third. Like really cool. Like, really. So let's round. No, we go along. Yeah.
Before I have to. You talked about the boss encounters. We're talking about Shinobi. We need to talk about music before we go.
Good call out. We have the legendary T. Lopes. That's kind of that did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and then the iconic legend Yuzo Koshiro. Actually, I don't know what tracks he has done specifically, but he apparently he has contributed to this. So so you brought it up. You know, where are you at with the music on Art of Vengeance?
I think the thing is, when you think about Yuzo Koshiro, right, you're thinking about how he used that Genesis sound chip to sort of masterfully create like rhythms and sounds and beats that, you know, pretty much nobody else got out of that system. Like,
oh my God.
And so when I think of Yuzo Koshiro, I think of him in that context. So to see him in a modern context with like orchestral scores, in addition to trying to incorporate what he's known for, what he's good at, I would be honest, man. Like I was really taken aback by this.
Remember,
music.
The majority of this is T.
Majority of it is
got
T.
Like 80. I don't know. I'm going to assume he contributed, but not to the percentage that T did. We got to give T Lopes his flowers.
No. T because T, you know, Shredder's Revenge. He did Penny's Big Breakaway, Sonic Mania. Like T's no joke. He's no joke. But you can tell you can always tell the infusion of Yuzo in tracks, and I think it is. I don't think there's specific tracks that Yuzo's on his own. I think it is a through and through sort of collaborative effort, and it shows. Like it's like you will have the more orchestral stuff from T that he's known for. Again, more modern sort of music design in terms of video games, and then you have Yuzo sort of his techno beats, and then those moments that crescendo ups, like, you know, Yuzo was very good at creating music that sort of ebbed and flowed with the flow of what was happening in the gameplay, right? And when you see it here, when you see these crescendos happen as you're about to take on the boss, the boss track hard, the beat that goes, like you guys were talking about, as you're going into the boss fight, and you see like that little silhouette they show of the boss, and then you go right into the fight, and it's like all of those things work so well in conjunction with one another. I was like, yo, man, I don't know, man, this music, I really have to get through the whole game and really like analyze and think about these tracks and listen, and also listen to them on their own.
On their own, yeah.
But everything I've heard so far is beautiful. Like it fits so well with this game. And the thing about it fitting so well with this game is crazy is that, you know, this game it's not just what you would traditionally think of a ninja game or whatever, like King was alluding to before. Like you have the natural stuff, then you have the mechanical stuff, then you have the supernatural stuff, and all of the music in all of those different scenarios is different, and it feels like it fits perfectly for those scenarios so far, in terms of what I played so far. I'm really, really impressed with the soundtrack. Really.
Attic, quickly in terms of the music. I know we don't want to gloss over to it. Obviously, any standouts to you? How did you feel about it? Average, okay, but yet.
It was serviceable. I wouldn't
Hmm.
say it was like anything like dramatically good or dramatically bad. I could tell it was there. I could tell, it
So I could
definitely
tell it was
it
there.
definitely
It's
added
not
to
Final
whatever.
Fantasy.
Well, I mean, when you comparing it to Final Fantasy soundtracks,
I mean,
that's some of the
Yes,
best in the business.
Expedition
So
33
Yeah.
and
so it's
South
just
of Midnight
like
is
it's
outside this
good.
year.
It
Yeah.
definitely helps heighten the experience of Shinobi, but I wouldn't say it's like it's not going to be in a conversation of the top 10 of the best soundtracks in gaming history or anything
Yeah.
like that.
We ain't doing God tiers just yet. We really gotta
Yeah,
relax.
let me just,
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna
Good.
use those stand. I'm gonna use those
Yeah.
stand, and you wouldn't
Fair
be, you
enough.
would not be a use those stand.
Yeah. Now, I feel you. Kid, music, where you at, good, banger, it's okay. Remember, Shinobi had man, some great music, man. Great
Well,
music.
that was on hardware that couldn't actually.
Mm-hmm.
When we heard Genesis sing, it was only a chosen few that was able
Mm-hmm.
to do that.
Mhm,
Now, great music is commonplace,
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
right? So it's really in this digital era, he would have to be analog,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just not going
Yeah.
to happen. But what I felt was the music was serviceable
Yeah.
and it didn't distract from the area. It enhanced it.
Yeah.
My thing was more the sound effects.
Thank you. I forgot about that. When you,
Yeah,
sorry, when you break the armor of an
yeah.
enemy, ooh, and
It's
I'm
like
sorry, good call out
it's
with the sound
it's
effects.
it's different things like that can enhance a game and take away from a game. Like you can give impact blows with the timing of the rumble of the controller and also showing larger impacts to make you say, all right, I broke that shield. Now, should I concentrate on that character or
Mhm.
that character going forward? So I felt that the usage of sound is not just necessarily tied to the orchestra or the music that's going along with
Mhm.
the board, but also
Mhm.
the pings,
Yeah, oh yeah,
like
good
throwing
call
the
out.
kunai if it hits the wall and hits the floor,
Oh
or if it
yeah.
actually hits a character, it has a different sound.
Mhm.
If an explosion of the barrel,
mhm,
Mhm.
it's different things that he stuck to that made the game special. So I thought
Mhm.
the sound effects, I think he went above and beyond with the sound effects,
I
but
agree.
I felt that musicality wise, he
Mhm.
played it safe
Yes, thank you. Okay,
and
I'm
and,
with you.
and,
I'm with
and
you.
didn't
Word?
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
I'm a little harder on them on that one. I'm with
yeah,
King
Mhm,
on this.
because I
Mhm.
think he didn't want to overextend himself by doing something like do a guitar riff in a
Mhm.
spot that don't call
mhm,
for it.
Yeah.
You
okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that the board where the the festive board,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the explosions in the sky enhance while you're playing the game.
Mhm.
Mhm,
So it's like little subtle things like that. I thought he understood that more
Mhm.
so than trying to outshine the game with the sound. I thought
Yeah.
that sound
got
enhanced
you.
it and
Yeah.
gave it a flavor.
Yeah.
Each map, each board had a different flavor to it
Yeah.
with enhanced sound.
Yeah, King, just to add on, because I'll finish that. That's literally where I was going. I think me and you in the exact pocket. Look, the sound effects are exceptional. This is world class sound design. Way, like I said, the armor, the way things sound, the weapons shoot, all that stuff. As a fanboy of the music of Shinobi games, all the way to the arcade, you know what I'm saying? All the way to Revenge Shinobi would probably be the GOAT as far as music for me. Because even Shinobi 3 is the better game. I feel Revenge of Shinobi's music, the title screen,
Mhm,
Yeah.
bro, you know what I'm saying? And like it's certain beats that I feel, and even arcade Shinobi, amazing beats. I felt like this was understated. Not that it was bad. It was just understated, like a safe. We're not gonna go crazy with. I didn't feel like there was mad bangers like I'm used to. Like I'm used to like three or four like joy. Now the joints I will give credit. I do like the stage select beat.
Yeah.
mhm,
That joint's cool. Sorry, you gonna say something about
No, but and that's why, because the thing is, when you listen to it, it feels a lot smoother
it's
and more
smooth.
subtle.
It's subtle. Yeah.
And more subtle, but you have to kind of. For me, I was like, I heard that, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
where is the underlying dum dum dum? And
Yeah.
it's there, but it isn't as pronounced
It's
as
pronounced.
as
Yes.
it
Yeah.
would be like on a Genesis, where that is
Correct.
the thing that stands out more than anything,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, the standouts for me, where I was head bopping, boss track, like King said, verse, dun, 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 you're like, oh, it's about to go down, right?
Yeah.
It's going. That is a standout, and the anything involving a chase sequence, an addict knows when there's fire coming, there's a helicopter, anything with the chase, that beat goes crazy. It adds so much to. I gotta get this done. Where's the hook at? Where's the thing? I gotta climb up. I gotta mantle. I got that type of energy, and I think Addict, you mentioned when I was listening to you play, you was like, yo, I really like the Desert Boards music. I really that one really hit hard for me. And again, amazing stuff. We're gonna wrap. I forgot to mention one last thing. I want to shout out. We did a platform that I forgot. The fact that he could hang and slide,
Mm-hmm.
ninja cool on a
Mm-hmm.
slide down, bro. Like I love that right there. We ain't gonna gloss over how ninja's supposed to move, crawl underneath, flip, and then even he's got when he holds on to a server, he got that quick little run up for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I
Boom,
like
get to
Yeah.
the
that.
top. Like
That I
you
like that.
hold
If
it,
when I didn't have the claws,
yeah. When
then
you
I
get
would do that little run up and give
when
me
you
that
give him
extra boost and jump.
right.
I
So
love that.
anyone's coming
Yeah.
for the platform and be clear. We got to nitpick with one little aspect, but we not gonna say this game ain't a good platform. So let's wrap.
No.
Final thoughts. Where you at the hierarchy? Where you got it overall? Addict, I'm gonna let you say this thing. Where is this in the Shinobi hierarchy for you? It's your first one. I'm gonna technically second because you played the arcade track. But like, where's this game ranked for you overall?
I would say it's the top 3 games I played this year. If it wasn't, might have been a runner up for Game of the Year if I didn't play Expedition. I'm assuming that would change when I play like the Outer Worlds 2 and games like that. But I will say like there was not a time where like I wanted to drop it. Yeah, there's even this game, Wu Chang. Like I wanted to drop that a few times. But I honestly say that like I enjoyed I enjoyed everything about this game. I do recommend it. I think it's definitely worth your time and investment and money.
No doubt, King. Where are we at? I know you're still in it, but
Yeah.
so far, how is it feel? Where you got it in the hierarchy so far?
Okay. Well, as far as a 2D game, like I said, so graphically and performance wise, I think it's the best out of this generation and last generation. But as far as a Shinobi game,
Mhm.
it's second only to my favorite Shinobi game, and it's Shadow
Oh, you
Dancer.
still have Shadow Dance
And
over this.
the reason why is the dog. I
Mhm.
have an affinity for the dog.
Mhm.
I don't know if any part in this game do I get to sick my dog on somebody,
Oh, I see
or
what
is
you're saying.
he saving that for part 2?
Right.
Like I don't know.
Mhm.
But if you do not, by the time I end this game, do not allow me to walk with my
So you want to
dog and
sick? You want to
sick
walk
it
and
on
sick?
somebody,
Okay, you want Shadow Dance?
then. But because I thought when I first saw that in the arcade, I will never forget it. I was at 42nd Street Arcade. I
Mhm.
walked in, I got my quarters from the front, and I walked to the back, and nobody was playing it.
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh, it's a new Shinobi game." And I said, "But it's called Shadow Dancer." And
Mhm.
I went over there and I said, "He has a dog," and he was sicking the dog on the dude, and he'll hold him in place while you go over there and handle your business. And they can hit the dog and knock the dog back. They switched it up when they brought it back to the house. They would turn the dog small.
Yeah,
But to me for
you love that.
always
That's your favorite.
that's my favorite. I would
I get
probably
you.
buy an arcade machine just for that.
I
just to
get
keep
you.
in this.
I get you.
But it really is better than it. But
Yeah.
it's just me just holding on to my
Yeah,
youth.
I get you. It would be
Yeah.
like me holding on with certain things in arcade, not in it. I'm like, damn, I wanted that. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. We're
Yeah.
certain. There's so many of the games and there's so many things we love, but I get where you're coming from.
But he did everything perfectly, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I was scared with this one,
Terrified with this.
and He did it. He did it. And even down to Joe not talking. Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you because you could have really messed it up with,
Hey
hey guys,
guys, hey guys, it's
hey
Joe.
guys, let's
Hey,
go get bruised.
Joey
Like
Crack in the building.
Joey
I,
Crack in the
I,
building.
I'll avenge you.
Joey Kunai, what's up?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good
So
on that. No doubt, no doubt. So where we at, your ranking, the Pantheon, all the vengeance, man.
Can I say, man? Like nearly what 40 years since the inception of this franchise,
Yeah.
and more than 30 years since
Mm.
the last 2D entry, which I consider to be the greatest Shinobi game of all time. There's a new king. There's a new king. Shinobi 3 for me was the pinnacle of Shinobi.
yeah.
Turn of the Ninja Master.
Pinnacle. And this just outdid it, and this outdid it in a way that had so much reverence for that game and for everything that came before it. But it's brought it to the forefront in a modern way that I could, none of us expected. None of us expected out of this game. And I'm not even done with the game. And I have no problem saying that this is the greatest Shinobi game that has ever been made. And it is one of the top platformers of recent years, platformers slash Metroidvanias. I've played a lot of great Metroidvanias, obviously Metroid Dread, Axiom Verge, obviously Hollow Knight and Silk Song coming out later this year. That genre has evolved a lot over the past, 20, 30 years.
Mhm.
And Art of Vengeance is right up there. It's right up there. I'm excited to see how the end game and the middle of this game towards the end kind
Bosses.
of takes it up to the next level.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on that yet, but what I've played so far, I have no problem saying this is the greatest Shinobi game I've ever played.
Yeah, I'll wrap this. This was man, Sabi said it well. I was terrified. No one wants to see something that you love mishandled. And I have a bad history, King knows. Things that I love tend to not come back in its greatest form. And if Lizard Cube and Sega would have just for all purposes cashed this out and just say we're going to utilize the namesake and the and I've been through many generations of that. Just use the name, not do the fan service, not do the reverence, not do the history, and it would have sold. They could have gave us a Genesis Revenge of Shinobi or kind of light, or Shinobi 3 kind of light with basic mechanics, what we've always played, and we would have been. I'd have still been satisfied. I'm like, you know what? Okay, he's back. They just put a little coat of paint on him, and I'm cool. This is such reverence. This is such fan service, and not only the perfect team with Lizard Cube and this amazing, as Saul says, painterly art style, comic book like art style, thing that it just looks alive. It looks like you're reading and playing a comic book. And the love for Sega, and again, the trust of Sega, because doing the history, they were looking for a team to do Shinobi, and Lizard Cube was on their mind. And Ben Fiquet and his team, Lizard Cube was such Sega and Shinobi fans, and they wanted to do a game, so it was the perfect marriage at the perfect time. And it shows. It's without question, this is the greatest Shinobi game of all time. And I'm going to say not only that, what surprised me is I'm like, okay, it's a Shinobi game, that's great, but no, this is a great game.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the and to hear Addict, I'm telling you, I had grown man tears for a game that I love. My effing namesake is for this game. You know what I'm saying? Like Cognito's Incognito, Shinobi, the art of invisibility, the art of stealth. Like that's the play, right? I see this in the arcade with Clay King. You know the story. 167th. You know what I'm saying? On Clay, Shinobi Dawn. I was mesmerized by a kid that did it in 1 quarter. I was like, I want that game. That's the game that made me a Sega fan, right? So to see it come full circle, and I see my brother who don't have a history, who's playing, and he's like, "Car, this is lit." Oh, word, that boss was. Oh, that was word. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's Black Turtle. Yeah, that's the. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing it, and I'm like, yeah. So again, thank you, Blizzard Cube. Thank you, Sega. This was amazing. This is true. I'm looking for again. There's Endgame. There's Boss Rush. I know they announced. We can talk about it now. They just announced. Yeah, they're gonna have a Boss Rush where you do them all in a row.
Yeah.
And then they got Eggman. They bring another thing. They do it all.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna mind if they want to bring other Sega IPs and he fighting this. Oh, last call out. How y'all gonna have Ryu Suzuki in the joint in the background? He was in there from Shenmue.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sega love is there.
Mm-hmm.
So salute to
Mm-hmm.
y'all. Yeah, definitely one of my top games of the year. It's up there. That's how much I really love this game. And that's what I got with the Lords, man. Any final things, Attic? We're going to get up out of here. But I appreciate everybody. Again, shout out to Sega. Shout out to Lizard Cube, for providing us all the codes and the ability to cover this game. And we got more surprises if y'all stay tuned in terms of coverage, which, we are not done.
And we are out of here.
Peace.
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 Peace.